Hello, everyone. Quick heads up before we start today's episode. The Global Agile Summit is happening on May the 4th. Yes, May the 4th, and even with a big blowout Star Wars party, you have to join. It will be online, and it's, like always, free to attend. We have 4 tracks this year that I'm really excited about, and I think you will too. Stick around to the end of the episode to know what they are. If you want to check it out already now, you can check it out at bit.ly/Global Agile 26. That's the numerals 2 and 6 at the end. So one more time, that's bit.ly/Global Agile 26. All one word, all lowercase, and 2 and 6 are the numerals 2 and 6. So stick around till the end of the episode and I'll tell you what's in store. But for now, on to today's episode. Hello, everybody. Welcome to a very special bonus episode where we're going to explore one of the tracks at the Global Agile Summit. The track is called AI in Organizations, and we have with us to tell us all about it, the hosts, Michał Dougherty. Hey, Michael.
Hello.
And Michał Parkoła. Hey, Michał.
Hello.
Michał has his son with him. So this is a family show, everybody. Watch out for the cursing. Anyway, so we're getting closer to the Global Agile Summit. It's actually in about a week as of the time of publishing this episode. We're recording this a bit earlier, but it's going to be around a week before. And today we got Michael and Michał explaining what was their thinking behind the AI in Organizations track. So you two are co-hosting the AI in Organizations track. And before we get into the details of all of the sessions and all of the goodies that you are preparing, why did you decide to call the track AI in Organizations instead of just AI, for example? What's the distinction that you're drawing?
Well, AI is really genetic. I mean, artificial intelligence covers a lot of different topics. There's machine learning, there's chatbots, there's generative AI. There's many different uses out there. And AI just didn't come around when OpenAI and ChatGPT started getting popular. It's been around for decades, and people often don't realize it. But what's really become the next big thing, and why we called it AI for Organizations from my perspective, Michał, you may want to add on top of it, is that AI, when it first came out, was really heavily used for chatbots and large language models. And that was more like ask a question, get a response back. Hey, this thing's a genius. Well, now it's been evolving into the AI agents, and agent scaling to an enterprise level within organizations has become a very huge thing. For instance, Claude Enterprise takes about 29% of the market right now and is a big leading champion as far as what's going on for within companies, what they're using AIs within. Gemini is another big one with their enterprise, about 15%. So we're seeing the rise of using AI to replace automation that had been done by previous tools. There are a lot of tools out there, but now it's being driven by AI. And that's where we're really focused on. Now, a lot of our talks will go on different aspects of AI, introductory and so on, but it really comes down to practical use of AI within organizations.
Yeah, and if I can add to that, from my perspective, the application of AI is very interesting. That's our layer 1 topic. But what I'm most interested in is the second order effects of using AI. Because I have this belief that AI will not only be useful to existing organizations, but it will reshape organizations in a very significant way, the same way like cars reshaped cities. Like cities have a different shape because we have the combustion engine and cars. And I think AI will have also a huge impact, not only on how organizations work inside, but actually how they, like, new species of organizations will emerge. So existing organizations will change their structures and dynamics inside, and some organizations might die, and a lot of new organizations might sprout up that are probably have much fewer people, use AI much more deeply. So that's what I'm most interested in, the second order effects of how all the tools that are available are already reshaping organizations and will reshape them further.
I really like that take or that spin, which is the impact that it might have in organizations, not just how it is being used. Of course, that's, I'm sure, going to be part of the sessions you have planned, but also how AI might reshape organizations in some form. And we'll get into that in a minute. But before that, we opened the call for sessions to the whole community. There was a lot of sessions that were submitted, and your track, of course, got a lot of them. No surprise there. But from the list, from the submissions that came in for your track, what surprised you? What were people submitting that you expected? And what were the things that came in that you went like, oh, this is an interesting take?
For me, there was a bit of AI slop in the submissions. All right. There was a lot of talk and submittals that unfortunately were meta talk. There was no real value that I could glean. Now there might be in there, it's a submittal, so you can't really tell what's underneath the hood other than what they show you as the car. I'll do the car analogy like Michał has done for the new AI vehicle that we can drive through our new cities that we'll have as a result of AI. And so I was disappointed by a lot that I looked at them and went, what is it that I can take out of this personally? What is it that my company could take out of this? What is this that my team could take out of this? And so that was a bit of a disappointment for a lot of them, but there were gems in there. We had several gems, and one of them had to do with how that person currently uses AI with Lovable and with Claude to embed in their Miro whiteboard that they use with their team right now. And that's what Dave Westgarth is doing with his team. And he's like showing, this is what I do to enhance our team interactions. And that was impressive. And so we've got a lot of those out there, not that many, but enough to make a good conference, a good summit with those key speakers that we've selected from the rest of the group.
How about you, Michał? What was the surprising contribution from the community?
Yeah, for my part, like I'm not worried about the poor submissions because as a person on the internet, I'm so used to like masses of low value content that I just pick out what I like and I just don't worry about the rest. And my favorite one was from Max Piechota, and he underlined, and he will be one of the people we interview, that he's talking about. So there's this misconception or maybe like a habit going around or a meme that, like people who build software with agents, like they're just producing slop and it's low quality, and if no one is reading the code, then what about the quality? But I think that's a weak argument because if we had something larger than a one-person team, like if you have some bigger software to write and you hire a bunch of programmers to do it, they also make mistakes, and the success of larger scale software and the quality of larger scale software depends on a disciplined engineering or a sound engineering process at scale, not on the infallibility of individual engineers. And it's exactly the same with agents, that yes, your first attempt at vibe coding will be low quality, but there are ways to apply this disciplined engineering to agentic engineering as well, and that's what we are going to talk to Max about. So that was my favorite thing because it addresses an issue that no other proposal addressed.
Talking about engineering disciplines, you guys have what we would call a heavyweight of the Agile world in your track as well, Gojko Acic. He's the guy who wrote Specification by Example and Impact Mapping. Specification by Example is probably already in itself a huge contribution to the use of AI in programming, but I don't know if that's what he's talking about. So what's he bringing to the conversation? What is Gojko's main contribution to the AI in organizations at the Global Agile Summit?
Well, true to his roots, he is exploring spec-driven development now, which is one of the popular threads in agentic engineering. However, we didn't talk that much about it. He's also, so apart from being like a thought leader and like an agile expert and consultant, he's also building his own AI products. So we talked more about those experiences and yeah, for the details.
So a really real hands-on how to use AI in developing your own products perspective.
That's right.
And another one of the guests you have on your track is Sean Wallach. His session title is quite provocative. Even with AI, your system will never be better than its people. I guess some people out there are shaking just thinking of that possibility because many people are betting on AI to make their systems better. So, Michael, what is the key message that Sean brings to us in his session at the Global Agile Summit?
Sean brings a great counterpoint to other speakers that we have, including in our event. And I think both points and counterpoints are very valid, meaning one point is that you treat your AIs as employees. That's what Jason Little has as a keynote talk, saying that you have an onboarding process, you track what they do, you make sure you're doing it right, you give them empathy, you have other AIs evaluate that AI, you ask AI, how can I get you to do your job better? Well, Sean Wallach has the counter side to that, and that is don't treat your AI as an employee, because recognize that AIs can only do certain things really well. And the bottlenecks, if you look at it from a flow-based system perspective, systems thinking, that what happens is AI does whatever you tell it, like a genius, super fast. And if you do it well, you can get it to do it super accurately too. It's probabilistic versus deterministic, so you got to be careful about that. But you can get AI to do something predictably. And once that happens, it reveals bottlenecks everywhere else that are based on humans. So you're going to have to address those human bottlenecks. Like, for instance, one good example was that AI was used for submissions of health insurance, and AI was declining twice the amount of health insurance claims than the humans did beforehand. And what they had was a human in the loop to check on it, but the human in the loop just trusted AI and really didn't check very closely. And it built up to a mountain, and now they've got a big class action lawsuit going on, which is not where any healthcare system would want to go with their, or insurance company would want to go with their use of AI. So AI needs to be very carefully seen, that the human part of it still needs to be there for a lot of things. There are several use cases, but for cases like that, your humans are still going to slow down how fast AI can go.
For me, that's one of the unanswered questions when it comes to AI in organizations. Let's not forget that no matter what we do, even if we use AI, the fact is that in the market, the organization itself, the legal entity itself, is responsible for what it's done. And if no human is in the loop, I can only imagine what kind of catastrophes might happen. And, you know, there are some real life stories already out there of AIs promising people free flights and other things that eventually companies had to pay for, right? Like AI doesn't just cost to operate, it may make expensive mistakes. Now, of course, it's not to say that humans don't make mistakes. And in fact, there's a track on your, a talk on your track by Dave Westgarth, talking about prototyping at the speed of thought and talking about mistakes. The best way to make mistakes is to make low stakes mistakes, right? Like do things quickly, get information, get feedback quickly, iterate. What is Dave talking about with his Vibe UX talk?
Right. So Dave's taking the principles behind usability testing, and that you can do quick mock-ups. You know, the traditional way, or at least the more recent way, was like you take a product like Figma, you do screen mock-ups, you show them to the user base quickly. They give you feedback. I like this. I don't like that. This is good. That's not good. I'm not sure. And what Dave is bringing up is now you can vibe code in ways where you can have it build the interface, the whole working system versus a paper type digital prototype, right? That doesn't really function. And you can do it so fast that now the speed to creating prototypes and products becomes more of an issue of now I've got so many selections, which one's the right one? So product managers, product owners now have a different game they play. They're not a game of like, I've got to pick one and then validate it. Now I've got 20 that I can choose from. Which one's the best ones that I should pick? Which ones do I need to clear out? So you're spending more time clearing out the closet, all these AI generated solutions for you. And that's what Dave is saying, that you need to be able to readjust your game, because that's what's happening going forward with AI.
Yeah, I really like that idea of collecting feedback immediately. And now that we can do a lot more than we could before, there's really no excuse not to start experimenting earlier. Now, we talked about AI in organizations, and I think there's one aspect we absolutely need to cover, which is when you were selecting these talks, and there's going to be several. We just reviewed a few of them, but there's more. So check out globalagilesummit.com for the full list of sessions. From your perspective, as you guys were designing this track, who did you have in mind? Who is this track really for?
So it's for those folks that want to get some practical hands-on usage of doing AI. Now, everyone's at a different level with what they're using AI for. You may be a brand new beginner. You haven't really touched it. Maybe you use it for a couple queries to find out what's the best places to go for my travel vacation to Spain, or whatever it may be. And you haven't gone any deeper. You haven't done it for anything else other than that. Well, we have, for instance, Pierre Biening, who's going to be showing how to do from confuse the confident on how to use Claude at a basic level. And he'll talk through the basics of that. Jason Little shows how he builds his. Now, he's at a different level than Pierre. Pierre's like showing the beginner, here's how to practically start using Claude. Jason's saying, here's how you scale and have your agents put together so that they work together to do something more complicated. And so we've got all of that. And what both Michał and I have focused on is making sure this content leaves you with actions that you could do. If you're coming in here just to watch stuff and learn, then you're not going to get as much out of it as if you come into this thinking, I'm going to try these things with AI and see where I go with it myself.
And do you guys have any live sessions prepared where people could go and try out things and learn?
Sure, we're going to do live Q&A sessions. Sean Wallach has signed up for that. Jason Little. Jason Little has also signed up for that, as well as Dave Westgarth. And we may have most of our track AI speakers do live sessions during the summit. Those we'll be announcing as they come closer to the event, which is probably by now.
Yeah. Sure so all the live sessions are already on the website, globalagilesummit.com. Make sure to check that out. And Jason Little is awesome. He's been doing amazing stuff with AI. You definitely don't want to miss that. How about you, Michał? Who do you think should be clicking register right now as they listen to the podcast?
Yeah, so I think AI is such a new topic, and as like the modern AI, it's developing so fast that there are no set paths that you have to like narrowly keep to. So it's for anyone interested. I think most people who are interested in organizations and agile and stuff like that will find some practical uses. But actually, my favorite case would be people who will quit their jobs and start new companies that will be able to achieve wonderful things with much smaller teams than we would otherwise imagine possible.
That raises the bar quite high already. Now, if someone wants to attend every session in your track, and they do, what do you think will change for them the next Monday morning? What is something they should expect to walk away with? Michael, let's start with you.
Well, they'll go from, in my belief, is they'll go from not sure what to do next. Like, well, there's this AI thing out here, and I've been playing with it, but I really don't know what really to do for it, especially business-wise. They'll have a good idea of what to do. Maybe even a spark that will start their own company. I heard that there is the first AI unicorn that's come out in the United States, where it's 1.8 billion evaluation, with one guy and his brother. He recruited his brother. That's all in the pharmaceutical industry, and apparently they're just been around for like 3-4 months and they're already just making millions in sales. So it can happen. There's a lot of hype out there, but it can happen, and it may not be in the billions. You may not have $1 billion organization, but hey, at least you can master it and feel confident going forward that you have a better way of your direction.
Color me skeptic. I don't know how you defend the business if it's just you and your brother doing something. But hey, you never know.
If you make a few million, even if it dies later, that's not such a bad thing.
That's exactly. It's not such a bad thing. All right, Michał, on your side, you already established quite a high bar for a vision, right? Like start your own business, which Michael kind of was building on. But from a practical perspective, what should people expect to get out of it and start with already the Monday after?
Yeah, my goal is to blow away the fog a little bit. So imagine like a battlefield and things are happening and it's kind of chaotic, but we want to throw in a few flares in a few key spots to give people examples of how people are actually using AI, how they are experiencing the changes in their organizations, not necessarily for the reason that you can copy everything that they do, but to like create this sketch of a map of the territory to imagine what's possible and which areas deserve a follow-up.
Absolutely, to imagine what's possible. Okay, one last question. Check out the list of keynotes at globalagilesummit.com, and why not register? After all, it is free. But Michael, if you could give us just a little bit of a hint of what we can expect from Jason Little's keynote.
Jason Little is a techno nerd, and he openly will say he's the grand poobah. That was his title for LinkedIn for a long time. And so expected to get a little wonky, expected to get a little nerdy. Expect Jason to say, that's a meaty question. And he will show
or
demo.
A boot. After all, he is Canadian.
Yeah, he is Canadian. We'll forgive him for that. They're the nice guys up north from me in the United States. And in any event, Jason's going to show demos of how his system works. It'll probably go above most people's heads, but it'll get you thinking about what not to do, and it will show you what things are the traps that you want to avoid and the tricks that will help you move forward in your personal and team and business journey with AI.
Absolutely. Looking forward to watching that keynote. I know that he's quite advanced in his practice. I mean, you just have to follow him on social media to see that he's really pushing the boundaries when it comes to running a business with AI. So one last word from you guys. If we start with you, Michał, where can people find out more about you and the work that you're doing?
You can probably find me on LinkedIn, searching Michał Parkoła. I also have a personal website using my name, and I'm building a product called Tapestry that is an AI planning assistant. So you can check that out at growwithtapestry.com.
And we'll put the link to those on the show notes, of course, so that people can easily find it. And why not ask a few follow-up questions from Michał? And how about you, Michael? Where can people find out more about you?
I also have a LinkedIn profile, Agile Michael Dougherty. There's a lot of Michael Doughertys out there, so I recognize I'm the one that has a book called Shift from Product to People, and that also has a website, shiftingpeople.com, and you could definitely check out more about book. And we also, me and my co-writer, Pete Oliver Kruger, have even training classes that we can offer to you. So those are two places you can look at to find out more about me and what we're doing.
And if you're listening to this podcast, I'm sure you're a fan of audio, and Michael and Pete have published the audio book as well. I'll put the link to that in the show notes so that people could go and check it out. Michael and Michał, thank you very much for your generosity with your time and your knowledge.
Thank you for being here.
It's my pleasure.
Hi there, friends. Thanks for sticking around till the end of the episode. So let me tell you what's coming. On May 4th, we're running the Global Agile Summit. It will be online, and I want you there. This year, we have 4 tracks, and each one is built around real conversations with practitioners. No slides, no keynote theater, just honest interviews with people doing the work, just like you. The first track is AI in Organizations, where practitioners show what actually works. No hype, just AI that makes your Monday better. Happy Monday, everybody. And then we have the people track, honest conversations about putting humans at the center of how we work and keeping them there. And third is Agile in Construction. And yes, I really mean brick and mortar construction. Lean and Agile actual job sites. Field leaders removing waste, teams transforming how buildings get built. Stay tuned for what I think will be a super track on Agile in Construction. And the fourth track is Agile in Gaming, how game studios ship without burning out. Agile inside the creative pressure cooker. Over the years, we've had more than 12,000 participants since 2017, the time of the first summit organized with the podcast. And this year, we're making it easier than ever to join. You can register for free and get access to the summit sessions live during the event week. That's May 4th to May 6th. Or you can grab the practitioner pass and get immediate access to last year's keynotes from Jürgen Appelo, Gojko Adzic, and Mirete Kangas. Right now, even before the summit starts. So grab your practitioner pass and start learning today. Head on over to bit.ly/Global Agile 26. That's 26, the numerals 2 and 6. Sign up and I'll see you on May the 4th. And one more time, here we go, bit.ly/Global Agile 26. All lowercase, all one word, and 26, that's the numeral 2 and the numeral 6. I'll see you on the conference floor.